mean, I spell it out before you get it, baby.
Show me your soul.
And honey, I'll show you mine. I'll show you mine. Boy, I'm standing right here holding up a sign, shamelessly displaying my state of mind. But you walk right past me, pretending like you don't see what's yours for the taking tonight. Ooh,
show me your soul.
Baby, I'll show you mine.
Show me your soul.
Can't you see it's way past time?
How expensive do I have to be?
I mean, I spell it out before you get it, baby.
Show me your soul.
And honey, I'll show you mine.
I'm jamming up in here this morning, y'all. Yes, I am having me a good old time. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited today. I am so excited. God is good. Things are wonderful. You are here. I am here. Richard KAUFMAN is here. Does it get any better? I ask you. Anyway, welcome to today's installment of Bathrobe Moments. I'm your host, Lauren Michaels Harris. And why am I so excited? Just because. Well, first of all, if I say so myself, I just love my season 5 theme song. It gets me going every time I hear it. Our theme this year is Show Me Your Soul, and I'll show you mine. And that's what it's all about, sharing those things that are most important to us with each other, right? Can I get an amen? Yes. So anyway, today is the 3rd day of February, and it looks to be shaping up to be a great day here in Naperville, Illinois, suburb of Chicago. Sunny, cold, 18 degrees when I went out. I went to the gym again this morning, 3 days in a row. Thank you, Jesus. Maybe that's where all this energy is coming from. I'm in it now. I'm in it to win it. I am doing it. I'm doing it. I also am changing up my diet and all those things. And so I'm really excited. I wanted to remind you guys before we get Richard KAUFMAN in here that I decided, you know how I said we're raising the money. We're going to hit $3,500 and send one of these great kids in this village in Kenya to high school for 4 years. $3,500 pays for everything for a kid. Their room and their board in the dormitory, their food, their uniforms, their stipend, their books, their tablet, travel back and home during breaks, all of that. $3,500 for 4 years of high school, right? So, and girls in particular there are not encouraged to go to school. And so we want to do something. We're doing this in conjunction with the Brett Weiss Scholarship Foundation. You might remember Brett was here a couple weeks ago. And do I still have a picture of Brett? No, I needed the space. Sorry, Brett. But I do have this for you guys. I'm going to throw it up there. Please write it down. If one of you out there would be so kind, one of the people watching, hi, all of you top fans. Hello, Michelle. Hello, Lori Whitney, Yolanda Riley, Sarah. Hi, I see you. And the rest of you, thank you so much for popping in today and sharing your soul with us. There is the link down there, weissscholarshipfoundation.org. I think we're inching up on 500, which means we have 3,000, but I'm not taking it down. I don't care if it's 2 years from now when we reach $3,500. I'm going to do this almost every day when I can remember until we reach it. Don't you guys want to go to bed one night in the hopefully near future, knowing that we have provided a 4-year education? Think about it. That is literally a game changer. Okay. So you guys, it's a stone soup thing going on here. Bring what you can. Just bring what you can, and we'll do what we need to do. We'll get it done. How's that sound, right? That's the Bella Purpose. Bella Purpose means that when we're talking about something that you need to take a good, strong look at, lean in closer, maybe do one of these. I know, Richard, I saw you doing it. I'm doing it too. Look in closer and invite a friend, share out the broadcast, do something outside of yourself for someone else right there when you hear the bell. Won't you please pray for somebody? Send something up. Why Scholarship Foundation is where I want you to go to donate again one last time today to this worthy cause. Please, I would love to see this thing. Every time I mention it, I'd love, even if we saw it go up $5. Brett Weiss texts me every day, or emails me rather, and lets me know how we're doing. We're inching up. Forward is always a good thing, right? Can I get an amen? There we go. So Lucy won't be here today. She's getting her roots done. Lucy McGillicuddy Ricardo. So I'm drinking out of my, you know, and this is another thing. Why do, if a left-hand person must have made this, because in order to read what's on it, you have to have it in your left hand. Somebody needs to come up with coffee mugs where you can change the handle. There it is. Okay, we're going to get my good friend Richard Kaufman in here. Richard, I'm going to see if I can read this bio. Oh, Lord. Here we go. I really do need this thing. Oh, no. Richard Kaufman originally hails from Belleville, New Jersey, and he proudly served in the U.S. Army from 1986 to 88, and he had a temporary break in service. He continued to serve in the Air National Guard from 91 all the way to 2012 in the following states: New Jersey, Pennsylvania, South Carolina. And one of the missions of his unit was to support Operation Enduring Freedom. We'll talk about that. And he was medically retired after 23 years of service. Now, he's also a first responder advocate. He is also an author. He's a Christian. He is a master connector. Going to talk about that. Promoter of others. Got to talk about that. And he is also known as hashtag the comeback coach. That's right. You heard me right. Today, Richard resides in North Arlington, Virginia with his wife and family, his wife, Michelle. And we got a lot to talk about today. So you know what? Let me just get this set up. Let's get Richard Kaufman. You guys, let me just say something. You know those people, you meet them and you go, oh, you're just the sweetest person. I told Richard this morning in the green room, I said, you're an empath, because he's just nothing but kindness pours out. My husband, Brian, is like that. I call my husband, Brian, Richie Cunningham all the time because he's so green and just so innocent and sweet, and people love him. Children run past me to jump into his arms. I'm like, hi. They're like, Uncle Brian. And that's it for me. So that's just how it is. I've learned to accept it. And Richard Kaufman is one of those people too. Do you have one of those in your life? If you do, if you have that person, don't put the full name. We're not trying to out anybody, but if you have someone, who comes to mind when I tell you about that person? Every time you see them, they make you feel good. They make you feel better. If you have someone like that in your life, and I hope you all do, drop the first name inside the comments, and we're going to see how many of you have one of those. Put on your thinking caps, because you ought to have 1, 2, 3, 4, or 20. I wish I had 100 Richard Kaufmans. So here he comes. Richard Kaufman, number 1.
Wow, what an intro. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Did you get that email about where to send the check?
Yes, I did. Doc.
Okay, because that wasn't free. I'm just kidding. Oh, Richard Kaufman. I love your backdrop. It is real. It's your house. I had to ask Richard about all those wonderful games. I am a board game fanatic. I'm serious. Don't let me see a garage sale that's got those. So Richard, good morning and welcome to the show. Tell us where you're at in the world today, and just say hello to the folks out there.
Hi, guys. My name is Richard Kaufman, also known as the Comeback Coach. As of right now, I reside in North Arlington, New Jersey. Where I'm sitting, I can actually overlook the Twin Towers where they once stood. And we got 2 feet of snow, almost 3 feet. So my snowblower broke, and I had to shovel everything out yesterday. So I'm kind of sore. But I interviewed somebody yesterday, and he changed my whole mentality with just 4 words.
Yeah, and those 4 words are
to change your mindset into, instead of saying I have to, saying I get to.
Oh,
so that
was 3 rings. Okay.
So that changed my whole perspective on everything yesterday.
That's awesome. Can we ask who that was that dropped that golden egg in your lap?
He was a retired professional bodybuilder named Jimmy Mentis.
Okay, and you guys, of course, it wasn't me because I'm not retired. I'm not a retired bodybuilder yet. I'm still active, clearly.
Of course.
So, I'm just kidding. See what 3 days in the gym will do. So anyway, Richard, so the Twin Towers. So were you living there when it happened?
No, I was actually in South Carolina National Guard, and that was the day my whole life turned around. The morning of 9/11 is when my whole life changed.
You mean because of 9/11?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, we're going to get into that, but I want to ask you real quick. Do any of your neighbors there, were they living? Do you know anybody that was living right there that can overlook it, that was living there when this happened?
My wife.
Huh?
My wife and her parents.
They were living there? They saw it?
Yep. And my wife actually works for a company called Stryker where they do hips and knees. So
yeah.
She
Goodness. My niece Tiana works for Stryker in Kalamazoo, Michigan.
Yep. She was actually called out that day for to see if they can help.
Wow. So, Richard, okay, can we start there? Brian and I went to the about 4 years. Wow, maybe 5 years. We were in New York doing something with some folks from Congress, and we had time to go see the 9/11 memorial, the museum. And boy, you see, I'm even whispering, talking about it. It was so quiet in there, and just, of course, you've been, right?
No, I
you haven't been in there.
I actually haven't had the stomach to yet.
You know what? That's a great way of putting it, because until you go there, you think museum as far as museums you've been to, science and industry, da 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 da. This was you know what it felt like, Richard? It felt as well. I don't know because I've never been there, but for me, I said to Brian, I said, this must be what it feels like to visit the Holocaust Museum.
Yeah,
because every place you look, history literally was speaking. Voices, I don't want to ruin it because you haven't been there, but the thing for me, you know what the hardest part for me was, honestly? You can look at the wreckage and this and the other and put the pieces together in your mind, but they have this thing, these little cubby hole rooms you go in, you know what I mean? They're open, but they're not. And you sit down on these little benches, and then they had the planes up on the wall, digital, and then little lights would come on, and we could hear the last messages from people where they were sitting when they were on the phone, and there was saying, oh, okay, I don't even want to go there. But you said it changed your life. Now, it changed the lives of a lot of people around the world, not just here in the United States. But I'd be interested, if you feel comfortable sharing, in what way did it change your life forever? How so, Richard?
Well, I got thrown out of the military the first time for being a drug addict and an alcoholic.
I wondered about that when I saw that 2-year stint. I was like,
Yeah.
Okay.
And
okay, go ahead.
There was some unfinished business, so I eventually got back in the military. Was due to be thrown out for a second time, not for being an alcoholic, but just being an a-hole. I try not to curse, but
you know what? It's funny because when you said not for alcohol, I said probably asshole, and you went to be an a-hole.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was due to be discharged on the end of September of 2001. And if you just picture this, I'm watching this unfurl, on TV like everybody else, and all my gear is right next to the TV, and I'm looking back and forth between the TV and my gear that I got to turn in. And when they first showed the footage, it wasn't, everything was real and it was live, and they were showing people jumping out of the buildings and the bodies actually hitting the ground.
Yes.
And they panned to the Pentagon when they were pulling soldiers' bodies out. And I tell everybody, I don't know what it was, but I actually crumbled into the couch crying and weeping because here I am about to be thrown out of the military for the second time. And these soldiers went into work and did not get to come home. And I literally cried out to the Lord. And I said, Lord, please give me another chance. um, and I will dedicate the rest of my life to helping people that can't help themselves. And I called my company commander, and it's funny because me and him are friends to this day. And he saw something different in me, and
Instantly.
yeah. And I went and I met with him, and they gave me another chance. I became Soldier of the Year within 3 years. I became an officer within 4 years, and I ended up doing over 23 years.
Wow.
And all because of that one day, I decided, everything I do, even now, it's just to help people that can't help themselves.
Richard, if I could speak in tongues, I'd say Hasababaka. I'm not kidding. You know what I love about that story? It is people like you. That's what changed my life. I always was the person, because I had a music ministry in my early years, working towards getting a record deal and all that. And I'd always sit and I'd listen to people that would stand up and testify and talk about, I remember the day. It was 43 years ago. It was a sunny afternoon. We were down by the river at a picnic and da 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 da. And I was like, I want something like that where I can pinpoint the exact moment, and it happened. But it's because of people like you who fearlessly proclaim that reality, that truth, and let us know it is possible. That's how I found mine, through the voices of people just like you. So bravo, because a lot of people, it don't think it missed me when I was looking on your Facebook page and I saw Christian in your description of the, how it's underneath your name. And I thought, I had to ask myself, I wonder why I don't have that under mine. And I want everybody out there, if you're a believer, why don't you do you have that in your bio? If you have something like that in your bio or in your profile description, say, yes, I do in the comments. I'm interested to know. Because I think, why wouldn't it be there? So Richard, okay. What did you feel? Is there any way, because there's not words to describe everything yet. Not all words are invented. But if you were to try to describe that transformation, that moment, that day, you woke up one person and you never woke up him again.
Yeah.
What does go with it?
The word I would say would be broken. And, even God says, he can only use a person that has a broken and contrite heart. And I was literally broken that day, but also very humbled. And I was the most arrogant a-hole that you would ever meet. Everything was about me. The world didn't start until I woke up in the morning. And I would use anybody for anything. I would get over whatever I can. And when I went to bed that morning, that night, I had to figure out, how can I help the world now? And how can I, make an impact in this world? I've been taken for so long. How can I give? So it was a massive change, but it happened within, 12 hours.
12 hours. So Richard, was it a feeling? When you looked in the mirror, did you feel you were looking at a brand new person? Were you afraid, is this temporary?
Oh, well, what it was, okay, now let's just put this into some perspective.
Okay.
I'm a wise ass guy from New Jersey and on the streets of Jersey, and I moved down south. So, if you're a Yankee down south, you're not popular to start with. And then if you have an attitude problem and you're always getting in trouble, so your people in your unit, in your military unit, they know you're a dirtbag. So now I had to when I had drill the next weekend, I had to be the guy that had to start all over again. And I already had a couple marks against me. So I had to start earning trust back. Trust, I've never had the trust.
Right.
But I had to start rebuilding a tarnished reputation. So that was the biggest thing, is I was scared, but I was also confident, and I had to change my thought process. And when I got there, I had to decide, what are the winners doing and what are the losers doing? I want to stick with the winners. So I started getting there an hour early, staying an hour late, and just started hanging out with people that were 5 and 6 ranks above me. So it was a time of everything was brand new again. So I had to relearn everything, including relationships. I had to relearn everything.
Wow. So, Richard, did people that were in your inner circle when this happened in your life, because I don't think it's not, you don't have a shared custody agreement, I'm assuming, with this change. It's not like every other weekend or, okay, I'm gonna be that Richard today and then tomorrow I'll go back to my old self. This has been a change that has remained since that day, correct?
Well, I mean, you can't say that because
Oh, so backslider, eh?
I'm a work in progress.
We all are. We all are. Did you deal with this? What about this? The outside people, because that's what a lot of us, where we get derailed with our best intentions, because people are watching and judging and this and the other. Were people suspicious that, oh, he's just full of shit?
I've been sober since 1989. So I've been sober.
Congratulations.
For over 32 years. And I still probably have people that are like, I don't think it's real, but it's okay because it's not your journey, it's mine. So I don't have to worry about it. What other people
I hear you. I feel you. Well, let me ask you this. Many of us out there here, we've changed our lives during the course of our journey. And in order for something new to come in, we have to be willing to lay something old down. So what would you say is the number one thing that was evicted, and then making room for what came in? What went out and what came in?
Well, I think the biggest thing is when I wrote my book a couple years ago, I kind of did things the backwards way, because I was on a friend of, I don't know if you know Donnie Boyven, but
Yes.
I was on he was the first podcast I was ever on.
He's a great guy.
And I told my story, and because at the time I was in the health and fitness industry, working with guys from the WWE, NFL, Major League Baseball, NBA.
What's WWE?
World Wrestling Federation.
I thought that was WWF.
Well, no, you're old school. It's WWE now.
It is? That doesn't even match.
Yeah. So
what's the E stand for?
Entertainment. So, and I started talking about that stuff, and I started telling them about my backstory.
Mm-hmm.
I came back from drug addiction, alcoholism, homelessness, PTSD, a traumatic brain injury. And if you guys can see me, I can't see you because I'm blind. And then I wrote a book, and I put all the dirty stuff I ever did. I put it out for publishing, which was not exactly the smartest thing to do.
Why not?
Because a lot of people that were in recovery were saying, if you go to AA or NA or any of the A's, that you're supposed to be anonymous. But I just threw it all out there because I figured if it helps people, then I don't care what people say about it.
Amen. Good for you. Good for you.
So once it was very cathartic when I wrote it. It was like kind of taking that 60-pound rucksack off of my back.
Mm-hmm.
And then, the three things I tell people, if you want to change your life in the next 30 days, is write down everything you've ever done to somebody wrong and ask them for forgiveness. Write anybody that's ever harmed you, write it down and forgive them. And the third part is,
you're working my bell finger today, Richard. You're working my bell finger.
The hardest, the best thing you can actually do is forgive yourself, because you don't need to be carrying junk for the rest of your life. If you screwed up when you're 16 and now you're 50, you don't need to be carrying that around anymore. You got to let it go. That's
right. That's exactly right. So what was the most surprising thing to you post transformation? Did you feel healthier? Did you sleep better? Did you wake up quicker? What was the thing that shocked you the most about this peacefulness, this new spirit that you are now walking within you or keeping within you and walking your path with?
I guess I learned to, because when I grew up, my mother was an addict. Thank God she's clean now. I I, I helped get her sober and clean 27 years ago.
Wow.
And but we moved around a lot. We moved
Mhm.
like 13 different places. So I never made friends, and I never built relationships. And I think that once I've learned,
Mm.
now I started to realize that in order to be a friend, in order to have a friend, you have to be a friend.
You better preach.
And so I just started,
Yes.
what real relationships are like, and and to realize, how to build real relationships and not build those fake relationships.
Let's talk about that for a second, if we could, because that was a big deal for me. I also was one of the, I used to consider myself a nomad. And, really, because I was angry, I was an a-hole too. I had, a 14-year drug addiction. And the thing about it was, I felt, let me put it to you this way. You know who my mentor was? I had two, really. Victor Newman from The Young and the Restless, and Alexis Colby Carrington off of Dynasty, because they just did whatever the hell they wanted to. They just want, and I felt like, you know what? I'm not going to be around long enough to care. So screw it. The world owes me. Look at what I've gone through. Poor me, poor me, poor me. And it was like I had a literal machete just chopping my way through.
Ding, 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 ding.
And going nowhere all at the same time.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? What I didn't realize is everything that I chopped down belonged to me.
Yeah.
And what a difference after that realization came about. Richard, we're going to go to commercial break right now. When we come back, I would love to get into everything you're doing and why you do it, because you're somewhat of an anomaly. You're everywhere. You're always doing something. And I find I'm speaking from my own experience with what you do. I find myself looking and going, huh. Now I wonder what made Richard say that. Huh. I wonder what made Richard do that, because a lot of the things you do are so off the, let me put it, you do a lot of unconditional.
All right, but then I got to get a little teaser for the audience.
Okay.
It's all because of one guy that me and Lauren both know that started this whole thing. There's a teaser for
you. So you're going to fill us in when we return?
Yep.
All because of one guy.
That we both know. Intimately. Very close friends.
Really?
Yes.
Well, I can't wait to find out. I cannot wait. When we return, we'll get into more with Richard Kaufman. You guys will be back in just a couple seconds. Actually, 2 minutes. Don't go away. Call a friend. They're missing it if they're not here. Okay, welcome back. Welcome back. Thank you for sticking around. If you've just joined us, we're in the middle of today's episode of Bathrobe Moments, where my guest is Richard Kaufman. Before I bring Richard back in, I just want to say thank you so much to my sponsor for today, author Dan Fielding, the author of the great book. Please get over and get it, The Asset Mindset. And also, kudos, hats off to a new friend of mine whose show debuted last night. Every Tuesday night, check out Taboo Talks with Miss Rita. If you want to find out about her show and much, 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 much more, there's lots and lots and lots of great programming. Simply download the E360 app and check out what's happening in your neck of the woods. So, Richard, there you are. Okay, you got me on pins and needles. I want to know, before we went to the break, you promised to tell us about this person that you say we both know intimately, good friend, that really had an impact.
Well, when I first got into the journey of, there are two people actually, but one was, so we're going to talk about later, but this gentleman's name is Robert, the Warrior Strategist Garcia.
Rob Garcia, of course.
Without him, there would be no Comeback Coach. There would be no book. There would be no podcast. It wouldn't be what I'm doing now. So all kudos goes out to Robert. He's a great person, a great friend. He may have a heart outside, but inside he's actually a little teddy bear. So,
I know it.
So
yes, he is.
If you guys don't know Robert Garcia, you need to know Robert Garcia.
Yes. I have his promo, which I created for him. Thank you very much. Which was great because it was so easy, because everything in there is who he is. He's just a plethora of knowledge. Really helped me out. I kind of coach him and he coaches me, and we just do it that way. And he's just a great, great friend. And I agree. Check him out. Check him out. So tell us about this book. What's the title of it and what's it all about?
Well, now me and you were probably around. I might be a little bit older, but we're around the same age. I'm going to ask you a question.
Boy, quit playing. You're not nearly even close to my age.
I'm going to ask you, who was the original Superman?
That guy in the black and white show? Wait a minute.
I mean, not the original, but the one that we all know and love.
Oh, you're talking about Clark Kent? Wait, Reeves.
Christopher
Reeves.
When I wrote my book, it's called A Hero's Journey from Darkness to Light. I actually reached out to the Christopher and Dana Reeve Foundation, his opening quote. And so the first page you open to is actually a Superman quote, which is pretty cool.
Wow.
Yeah. So you have to check it out. But it's about my life, but it's about all the mistakes that I've made. And at the end of each chapter is a teachable moment. And that was all because when I sent the proof to Robert to read, he's like, yeah, it's good, but it needs to be something that's teachable, to where somebody can learn something. So each chapter was a teachable moment.
That's awesome.
And the last two chapters are what suicidal people look like, not what you think they look like, and what addiction looks like, not what you think it looks like.
Thank you. Oh, go ahead. Remind me, I got something.
Now it's on Amazon Kindle. It's only 99 cents. So if you don't have a book, you got more than a problem. But the money goes to help veterans that are struggling with PTSD and traumatic brain injuries.
Oh, see, even in that, so unconditional. I just love you, man. I just do. I wrote down what my next thing is, but you said something that got me a second ago, and I said, "Hold on, I got something." You see how senior moments are? Those things are like, I mean, snatch and grab. They just come, bust, and just snatch something and run right out your head.
Now, was it the addiction part? What the addiction looks like?
I don't know. I told you it was snatched out of my head. It didn't leave a crumb. I have no idea. I can't even smell what it was. So right. I will say this, though. I will say this. It was about the addiction.
Because people will think, Oh,
that's what it is. I remember before I started, for the first time I ever picked up, because I was like Carlton from Fresh Prince. You know what I mean? I was goody, didn't do anything. And I really believed that a drug addict looked like the people that are at the freeway exits and ramps, or a person with long greasy hair with a syringe coming out of their arm. I didn't know. I'd been going to work, kicking it with people, had them over for dinner. There was a guy later that I found out later, he admitted, I was shooting heroin up at your house for years before you ever picked up. I said, how? I would have known. He goes, remember all the times I'd go to the bathroom? I wouldn't even really go in there. I'd shut the door and I'd go in your coat closet and do it because I kept it in the coat in there. And I was like, what? He said, yeah. I said, but you'd come back summer, you'd have on tank tops and stuff. How would we not know? He goes, you think I was dumb enough to shoot it up, shoot my arm? I said, well, where'd you put it? And he said, are you ready? Between his toes. So anyway, little drug story about that sort of thing. But you're right. People don't, I mean, I didn't know what one really looked like till I stared at him looking back at me, and it was me looking back at me. Yeah. So when you say mistakes, I'm getting ready to throw one out there for you. It's a big thing for me. Could you pinpoint one, what you deem mistake in your entire journey that did not turn out being a blessing later?
That did not turn out?
Or something around it, because I really believe that I don't believe there are mistakes. I believe that everything that happens, it looks like something other than it was, but it's really where it's an entry point for future blessings. It's where they come in and enter the process of becoming that blessing. But we have to be patient.
Well, two guys I'm going to mention real quick. My main is gentleman name is Ed Milet.
Okay.
And he says that nothing happens to you.
It's yours.
It happens for you.
Yes. Nothing. Repeat that, Richard. That's a double bell ringer.
It happens to you. It happens for you. If everything is a teachable moment.
Yes.
And then something. Now, I'm not a Grant Cardone guy at all, but I did read his book, and what I got from it, everything is your fault. If you guys are watching this, look at me in the screen. From now on, everything is your fault. Whether you do good or you bad, whether you lose or whether you win, it's your fault. So if you succeed or you fail from this point on, it's all your fault.
That's a good one.
And once you stop blaming people is when you actually become free.
And I will say this. If people, and I agree 100%, Richard, but I'll tell people this because I have a speaking topic called reinventing blame. And it's the truth. If you just got to blame somebody, then reinvent the meaning of blame. You know, for instance, abuse. I had a string of abusers in the foster care system that I carried them around. I could even, the last time I had a trigger, I could still smell the spearmint gum that the abuser chewed, right? Yeah. But I blame each one of them for teaching me patience, because I listened to them saying, you're not good enough, you're never going to be loved, you're not capable of loving. It really kept me alive as a gay man in decades when people were dropping like flies simply for looking for love in all the wrong places. It taught me patience until one day, unbeknownst to me, didn't wake up planning it, looked into the eyes of what is now my husband and knew instantly what true love was. I knew instantly that soulmates do exist. I knew instantly that everything they told me was a lie, but a blessing at the same time, because look at it now. And here we are. So that's why I asked that. So Richard, absolutely right. I want to ask you about, you have a little story about Gary V.
Well, now that I got hurt. Now, this is another part of my story. I did over 20 years in the military. I moved to New Jersey. My first drill with the new my new company. I was driving down to Fort Dix, and my vehicle broke down, so I had to pull it off pull it off the highway. And I got out, and I was backing this he was a young guy, young private, must have been just brand new green. And I'm in a Humvee. Everybody knows what a Humvee looks like, right? So I'm backing him up. Instead of him hitting the brakes, he hit the gas, ran over the whole right side of my body, and ran over my head.
What?
That's why I'm blind. That's why I can't see.
A Humvee ran over your head?
Yeah. Yep. And,
Quit it.
Yep. And so I lost. That's how. And I had a ocular stroke, and that's why I lost my vision.
Okay, tell us what that is. What's an ocular stroke?
You know,
no eye, but
stroke, you can have it anywhere. You can have it in your brain, your heart. But I had it in my eye.
An aneurysm.
And, yeah, and it just blew my eye out. So I lost my vision. And because you in the military, obviously, if you can't shoot, they don't need you. I had to wait a year for them to medically discharge me. So I had one good eye, and I've always been an avid reader. I only have a 9th grade formal education, but I've read up to over 5,000 books, and I kept reading books on self-help. I wanted to start, reinventing myself again, and he kept hearing Gary V, Gary V. And I realized he was from Jersey. His dad lives 20 minutes away. So I actually called the liquor store where his father owned a liquor store in Springfield. And I said, "When's your son going to be around?" And he told me. So I just showed up. And I got to talk to him for about 5 or 10 minutes. And actually, my Wounded Warrior hat is actually sitting in his office. And you could see it sometimes when he's on camera. In his office. And that's when he gave me a couple golden nuggets that I use to this day. Well, the golden nugget is, of course, the comeback coach. That's how we said, I said, "Gary, I drove all the way down here. I'm not leaving without a couple of nuggets." And he said, "I want you to make yourself a hashtag." And I'm like, "Well, what do you mean?" He says, "Well, whatever you're the comeback coach. So whenever you do a post, put the hashtag the comeback coach. So from now on, whenever somebody goes in their toolbar and puts in the hashtag the comeback coach, everything that you tagged is going to come up, and it's all free. So if I have thousands of posts, every time I put in hashtag the comeback coach, everything that I do automatically comes up on social media."
I didn't know that.
Yep. So that was something that I learned. And then the biggest
personal hashtag.
Yep. And
write that down, y'all. Write it down.
And the biggest thing that I learned was I started to really think, about who I was and what mark I was making in this world. And he said, "Your legacy will always be more valuable than your currency." And that really turned my whole life around, my whole thought process. Because now, you were saying all the things that I do all started because of that one quote.
Wow. Ooh. I get chills. You know what that means. That's when that spirit is moving around and just, it's just really something. I almost called you Gary. Richard. I did. So tell us about your experience with COVID. How's it been for you? What do you see as, how do you, we all have to not justify it, but process it in our own way. So what has it done positive in your life, this experience the last year or so with COVID-19?
Well, I went blind on my birthday last year. January 30th is when I lost 80% of my vision.
It just overnight?
Yeah. Because I had a detached retina in my good eye.
Okay.
So,
wow.
So like I said, that's why I use this Mr. Magoo glass. I
know. I saw it when you're in the green. What in the world? Right. But I feel, okay. Makes sense.
Read, and that's how I function. So I've been, inside since January 30th. And, well, I mean, COVID, my mom had it. My dad is 89 years old and he has pancreatic cancer. And
Oh,
thank
wow.
God he didn't get it. So it's weird how, my mother had it. They're living in the same house. He didn't get it. But then again, they're both believers. So I think that might have something
It does.
with the positive mental attitude. But, I think COVID, there's a lot of people out there that were, as we were called when we were younger, perpetrating the fraud.
Mm-hmm.
Thought he was, driving Lambos, living in mansions, and now they got found out because of COVID. Now they're living in the basement with their parents.
Ooh.
So a lot of people got found out that COVID got a lot of people. It became real.
It's the great equalizer.
Yeah, it really is.
It really is. That's what I say all the time. The COVID-19, this pandemic, is the great equalizer. Wow. Man, tell us about your podcast and then we're going to play the game. We're going to pick our first. Richard's going to play a game today. We're going to choose our first person for the month of February to put into the hopper. Sherry McQueen won last month's package, which I still have to get to the post office. Sherry, I haven't forgotten. I just try to make bunches of, I don't like running in and out. So I try to wait until I got a few things to go somewhere about. I ain't trying to, So we're going to play a game. I'm going to spin. And Richard's, we're going to see where Richard lands, and then he's going to play for one of you guys. But Richard, what was I going to say? There's another one that came, snatch and grab, just happened again. That's why I try to write everything. Oh, Lord. What was I going to ask you, Richard? You're an empath.
Yes, definitely.
Yes, we both are. Now, you know what? I was listening to a book today on the gym about, it's the handbook for empaths or something like that. And I just started it today, and they were saying that a lot of empaths end up addicted to drugs, food, gambling, all kinds of different things because they use it to numb all the stuff that they're feeling through others and other things in the world. And isn't that something?
Well,
See, even there's a blessing.
Because a lot of people grow up codependent.
Mm-hmm.
And I love my wife is my best friend. She's, everything to me.
Yes.
It's not my job to make her happy.
Michelle.
It's not her job to make me happy. We just have to coexist and try to make each other happy. But in the end, I'm going to be standing in front of my creator, and none of this other crap even matters.
Isn't that the truth?
So, I try to, you have to realize, you're not here to make anybody else happy, and nobody's here to make you happy. You have to be happy yourself.
Okay, I can't get this out of my head, and you're absolutely right. So how old are you, Richard?
I just turned 52 January 30th.
A mere babe. I told him I'll be 59 on the 4th of July.
There you go.
So you barely made it into, you still have 50s milk in the corner of you're a youngster. So, but boy, what a story. And man, I got to get you back because I want to find out how it felt, what was going through your head when you already had lost one eye. And then, I'd be like, well, couldn't it have been one ear or something? Why both eyes? I would have been asking that, but it didn't change anything. I'm sure it probably helped everything because
what it was is, I started, even like I said, Ed Milet, he even talks about, instead of saying why me, start saying why not me?
Why not me?
Who am I that I'm not supposed to have stuff going wrong in my life?
Wow.
So
awesome. Excuse me. Hi, Joe. Joe's here. Carol Rogers. Well, Carol Rogers says we're both babies. She's one of my coaching clients. Girl. So you ready?
I'm ready. Whatever.
Okay, we got some great people out there that want you to pick them. So start looking through. I'm going to ask you to pick a number so you don't have to try to read the. Uh-oh, it's caught in the middle. What was that? Did you guys hear that thing roll across? Ethel. That's Ethel, the cat. Red, which is. Oh. Okay, this ought to be fun. Richard, you will be playing Name That Scandal. Now, Your only clue is that this scandal actually comes from the year 2020. Ready?
Yes.
I'm going to give you, see how many clues it's going to take you to get it. This scandal from last year is all based around a toxic, so-called or an alleged toxic workplace with a popular daytime show host.
Ellen DeGeneres.
Well, obviously, it was a scandal. It is a scandal. Yes, man, you're quick. It was Ellen DeGeneres. Not so nice after all, according to a lot of the people that worked with her. Maybe getting busted and outed on that is going to help her be a nice person. You know, that ego's a mother. You know that, right?
Oh, I know.
Mm-hmm. And you know, isn't that interesting how it's the last place? Even I was shocked. Not Ellen. She has kids on the show, you know, and she gives away all that stuff. But see, you just never know, right? But hey, God's working in her life too, so we can't judge. I want you to pick a number, please, between 1 and 15.
9.
9. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Michelle Marie. Michelle Marie, your name is going into our digital database, which is this 3x5 pink index card. Michelle Marie, make sure you're present. If you don't, I hope you're here every day, but in order to win, you have to be present on the last show of the month when we draw the name out of the hopper, and now yours is the first one in there. Congratulations. And Richard, thank you so much for playing along. So in conclusion, we have about 2 minutes left. Richard, I'd like to give you your own Jerry Springer final moment, final thought. What would you like to say to everyone that's watching and will be watching that you think if they just take this and just put it in a little bit of fertile soil, they're going to grow something wonderful with it?
Okay. The 3 most important words in the English language. Now write this down.
I'm right. You see, I was reaching for my pen. I ain't playing with it.
Today, I decide. Once you make a decision, then all you have to do is act upon it. But those 3 words started, I had to do a video about 6 weeks ago about the day I attempted suicide, which was Memorial Day 2012. And it went viral. And now we are having our own mental health summit that I'm throwing on April 3rd. It's called Today I Decide.
Well,
So,
we should have been promoting that all this time.
and it's all free, and it's going to be through Facebook and Zoom. So if you guys would love to join us, it's April 3rd. Today I Decide.
Today I decide, April 3rd, you guys. Richard, will you send me the info and I'll put a little meme together or whatever that I can show?
Hashtag Today I Decide.
You're going to run that hashtag thing till the wheels fall off. I don't blame you. Hashtag Today I Decide. You guys heard it here. And if any of you would like to connect with Richard, again, it is, I'm going to throw it up on the screen, but it's very easy and easy to remember. Thanks to Gary V. Here it is. Where is it? I know I have it.
Hashtag.
Oh, there it is. Hashtag the comeback coach.
Now, if anybody needs any help with any addiction, health, fitness related, everything I do is for free. So if you guys get in touch with me, I'll help you out whatever I can. It's all because I'm just paying it forward.
I love you. I'm serious. I want to be more like you. I really do. And I'm not afraid or ashamed to say it. I really do. Because I'm telling you, there's something about you and people like you that it's that unconditional thing that is, it's just so refreshing when you can sit and you can open the door to possibilities with a person and not have to have one eyebrow of suspicion. What's their angle?
Can I just throw something out there?
You sure can.
When are you coming on my show?
Soon as you invite me. You asked me that before.
You have been invited now.
Okay.
Whenever you want, we'll do it within the next 2 weeks. I'll have
and your show airs where and when?
It's on it's called Success. Your Why Powers Your How. and it's an audio only podcast, so we can do it anytime, anywhere.
Well, you stay in the green room. We'll get a date.
All
I'll
right.
be right there. Okay. Thank you so much, Richard. It has been a joy. Talk about, I mean, it always goes quickly, but today was speedy quickly. Great content. You really touched me. So I know you touched a lot of people. Again, on the screen, everybody, hashtag the comeback coach. If you'd like to continue the dialogue with the wonderful Richard Kaufman, that's the best way to do it. Now, tomorrow, my guest is Jessica Dugas, and it is her 40th birthday. So we're going to have a little party up in here, but shh, it's a surprise. And I will see you guys on the front porch at 8 a.m. sharp, God willing, and we'll do it all over again. Remember, get out and be the blessing you'd like to see in the world. Every person or opportunity that crosses your path, if you make it your intention to leave that person or opportunity a little bit better than the way you find it, boy, you won't regret it. And that's a promise from me to you. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you again, Richard. Get out there and let's change the world. Okay? Love you guys. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.